They forgot his name after 3 test matches, but banks remember his credit score, and it's perfect. Cameron Cuffy's cricket career was a disaster by international standards. Just 3 test matches, 15 one-day games, then nothing. He disappeared so completely that even hardcore West Indies cricket fans struggle to remember his name today. But while everyone forgot about him, Cameron was quietly executing a wealth-building strategy so brilliant that he now lives better than cricket legends who played 10 times longer than he did. What you're about to learn isn't just his story. It's a complete blueprint for turning failure into fortune. Let me take you back to February 21st, 1970. A baby boy named Cameron Eustace Cuffy entered the world in Dominica. Now, if you don't know where Dominica is, you're not alone. It's a tiny volcanic island in the Eastern Caribbean with a population smaller than most cities. We're talking about one of the poorest nations in the Western Hemisphere. No major industries, limited infrastructure, and cricket facilities? Basically non-existent. When Cameron was growing up, Dominica didn't even have a single proper cricket stadium with international standard facilities. But here's where Cameron's story gets interesting. Despite having absolutely nothing, he possessed 2 critical advantages. First, he was naturally tall and athletic, standing well over 6 feet by his teenage years. In Caribbean cricket culture, height plus speed equals one thing: fast bowling. Second, and this is crucial, growing up with nothing taught him a skill that would later make him millions. He learned to make something out of nothing. Remember this because it becomes the foundation of everything he achieves later. Cameron started playing cricket on rough patches of land. No coaching. No proper equipment, just a ball, makeshift stumps, and pure determination. He developed his bowling action through trial and error. He learned to swing the ball by watching others and experimenting. He built his fitness by running on beaches and hills because there were no gyms. Everything was self-taught. Everything was hard-earned. And this struggle was actually preparing him for success in ways he couldn't possibly understand at the time. By his late teens, Cameron was the best cricketer in Dominica. But being the best in Dominica meant almost nothing in the wider cricket world. It's like being the tallest person in a room of short people. You're still short compared to the outside world. Cameron needed to compete at the regional level where Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, and other islands with far better facilities and coaching produced cricket talent like factories. The odds were massively stacked against him. His breakthrough came when he was selected for the Leeward Islands team in regional Caribbean cricket. The Leeward Islands combined players from several small Eastern Caribbean islands. This was Cameron's shot. Every match he played was being watched by West Indies national selectors. Every ball he bowled was an audition. The pressure was immense. One bad performance could mean going back to Dominica and never getting another chance. But Cameron had something special. He wasn't the fastest bowler, but he had incredible accuracy and bounce from his height. Here's what made Cameron different from other fast bowlers. Most Caribbean quicks relied purely on pace and aggression. Bowl fast, intimidate batsmen, take wickets. Cameron was smarter. He studied batsmen like a chess player studies an opponent. He noticed their weaknesses. He set them up with clever field placements. He varied his pace and length strategically. He was a thinking cricketer, not just a physical talent. This intelligence would later transfer directly into his business success. 1994 arrived. Cameron Cuffy was 24 years old and still playing regional cricket. Most cricketers who make it to international level do so by 21 or 22. At 24, Cameron was already considered old for a debut. But then it happened. He received the call. West Indies wanted him for their one-day international squad. The kid from Dominica who had nothing was about to represent the Caribbean on the world stage. His ODI debut must have felt surreal. Wearing the famous maroon cap, walking onto international grounds, bowling to world-class batsmen who he'd only seen on television. This was the dream realized. But here's the harsh reality that Cameron learned quickly. Making it to international cricket is hard. Staying there is 10 times harder. He played his first few ODIs and performed decently, but not spectacularly. He took some wickets, but was also expensive at times. He was good enough to be selected occasionally, but not good enough to be an automatic choice. Between 1994 and 1999, Cameron played just 15 ODI matches. Let me put that in perspective. 15 matches over 5 years means he averaged only 3 matches per year. He spent most of those 5 years practicing, hoping for selection, and dealing with the crushing disappointment of being dropped. This is the reality most international cricketers face. Only the superstars play regularly. Everyone else fights for scraps and lives with constant uncertainty. The waiting and rejection was mentally brutal. Imagine training 6 hours every day, staying in peak physical condition, sacrificing time with family, and then not getting picked for months. Then finally getting selected, playing one match, and getting dropped again. This cycle destroys most athletes mentally. Many turn to alcohol or depression. Many give up on their dreams. But Cameron kept pushing, kept training, kept believing his chance would come. 1998 brought what should have been his greatest triumph. He was selected for Test cricket. Test matches are the pinnacle, the highest honor in cricket. Playing Test cricket means you're among the best cricketers in the world. Cameron made his Test debut at age 28. He'd waited his entire life for this moment. He played that Test match. Then he played a second Test, then a third. And then something devastating happened. He was dropped and never selected for another Test match again. 3 Tests. His entire Test career consisted of 3 matches. He took 6 wickets total. His bowling average was over 40, meaning he conceded more than 40 runs for every wicket he took. In Test cricket, that's poor. Selectors want wickets at an average under 30. Cameron couldn't deliver. The dream of a long Test career died after just 3 matches. For most cricketers, this would be a crushing, career-defining failure. For Cameron, it became something entirely different. His ODI career limped along for another year, playing occasional matches through 1999. Then that stopped too. By the year 2000, at age 30, Cameron Cuffy's international cricket career was completely finished. 30 years old with a cricket career that barely registered in the record books. 3 Test matches, 15 ODIs, no memorable performances, no legendary status, nothing to show for decades of sacrifice except brief mediocrity at the highest level. This is the moment where Cameron's real story begins. This is where the blueprint for building wealth from failure starts. Most cricketers in his position make one of 3 mistakes. First, they try desperately to keep playing, accepting any offer to play anywhere just to stay relevant. Second, they become bitter about their short career and waste years in resentment. Third, they expect opportunities to come to them because they were international cricketers. Cameron did none of these things. Instead, he made a decision that shocked everyone who knew him. He moved to England permanently. Not to play county cricket, not to coach, not for anything cricket-related. He moved to England to completely restart his life. He was 30 years old, moving to a foreign country with no job lined up, no business plan, and no safety net. Just a belief that he could build something better than cricket ever gave him. This takes extraordinary courage that most people don't possess. England in the early 2000s had something Cameron recognized as opportunity. A large Caribbean immigrant community meant he wouldn't be completely alone. More importantly, England had a property market that was about to explode in value over the next 2 decades. Cameron didn't know this consciously, but his timing was perfect. He arrived just before one of the biggest property booms in British history. He started from absolute zero. No connections, no money, no business experience. He took regular working-class jobs, loading trucks, construction work, whatever paid the bills. Former international cricketers don't usually do manual labor. Their egos won't allow it. They think they're above ordinary work. Cameron had no ego about it. He needed money to invest, so he worked whatever jobs necessary. This humility is the first key to his success. While working these jobs, Cameron was learning. He talked to co-workers about property. He went to free seminars about real estate investing. He read every book he could find about property markets. He studied British property law. He researched different areas of England to understand where property was undervalued. He was treating property education like he once treated cricket training. Complete dedication, total focus, obsessive learning. Here's the critical insight Cameron discovered. Property investing isn't about having lots of money. It's about understanding leverage, location, and timing. Leverage means using borrowed money from banks to buy assets. Location means buying in areas that will increase in value. Timing means buying when prices are low relative to future growth. Cameron realized he didn't need to be rich to start. He just needed enough money for a deposit on one property. He saved aggressively for 2 years, living in cheap accommodation, eating basic food, no luxuries, no partying, No wasting money on things that didn't move him toward his goal. By 2002 or 2003, he had saved enough for his first property deposit. He bought a small property in an affordable area outside London. Nothing fancy, a modest house in a working-class neighborhood. But it was his first asset, his first step on the property ladder. Here's where Cameron's intelligence showed. Instead of just buying and hoping it increased in value, he actively added value. He renovated the property himself, painted walls, fixed problems, improved the kitchen and bathroom. These improvements cost relatively little, but increased the property's value significantly. Within a year, the property was worth 15 to 20% more than he paid. He had created equity from nothing but his own labor. He then did something most people don't understand. He didn't sell the property. He refinanced it. Refinancing means going back to the bank and getting a new, larger loan based on the increased value. This pulled out his original deposit plus the profit from renovations. He now had cash for another property deposit while still owning the first property. This is how you build wealth through property. You don't sell and pay taxes. You refinance and keep building. Property 2 came within 18 months of property 1. Same strategy. Buy in an undervalued area. Renovate to add value. Refinance to pull out equity. Use that equity to buy property 3. Each property generated rental income that paid the mortgage. The rental income also covered maintenance and repairs. Cameron was building a machine that paid for itself while increasing in value. Between 2003 and 2010, Cameron acquired 6 properties. Not all in one area, spread across different parts of England. Some in cities, some in towns. This diversification protected him if one area's market declined. He was running his property portfolio like a professional business. Spreadsheets tracking income and expenses, regular property inspections, good relationships with tenants, professional management of everything. The 2008 financial crisis hit. Property prices dropped across England. Many investors panicked and sold at losses. Cameron did the opposite. He saw the crisis as opportunity. Property was now cheaper. He had rental income still coming in. He had cash from previous refinancing. He bought 2 more properties during the crisis at bargain prices. When the market recovered over the next few years, these crisis purchases gave him enormous profits. By 2015, 15 years after leaving cricket, Cameron owned 12 properties. His total portfolio value was approaching £2 million. The rental income from 12 properties was substantial, more than enough to live comfortably without working. But Cameron didn't stop. He kept refinancing, kept buying, kept building. His goal wasn't just comfort. It was generational wealth that would secure his children's futures. 2020 arrived. 20 years since Cameron left cricket. His property portfolio now consisted of 15 properties across England. Conservative estimates put the total value at £3 million. That's approximately 3.8 million US dollars. The rental income, after all expenses, was over £10,000 monthly. That's £120,000 annually of passive income. Cameron had built genuine wealth, but numbers don't tell the complete story. What makes Cameron's achievement extraordinary is the transformation from failed cricketer to successful property investor. He played 3 test matches and became a forgotten name in cricket, but he built a property empire worth millions that generates passive income for life. Which achievement matters more? The 3 test matches nobody remembers, or the £3 million that changed his family's future forever? Cameron's success came from applying cricket lessons to business. Discipline from training transferred to disciplined saving and investing. Mental toughness from handling rejection transferred to handling property market fluctuations. Strategic thinking from studying batsmen transferred to studying property markets. Patience from waiting for selection transferred to patience in waiting for property values to increase. Every skill cricket taught him was valuable in business. Cameron Cuffy is the cricketer nobody remembers who built the life everyone wants. Financial freedom, family security, personal peace. No stress, no pressure. Just quiet success built one property at a time over 20 years. His 3 test matches were just the introduction to his story. His £3 million is the story that actually matters. Share this if you finally understand that career failure can lead to life success.